Reclaimed. 1,000 thorns along the stem of a rose stand like knights wielding knives to protect that which they prize. Despite their size, one slice can cause agony to anyone or anything, from large deer to field mice. They take pride in their duty to protect the rose day and night from those that wish to take away the patron that rewards them with life. However, that absolution soon will be disrupted, as this large hand from above pulled the rose from the ground and cut it. The knights fell like there was no purpose to life, as the flower was snipped off, and they had been cast to the ground in the man's hope that the thorns might die. But, be it through shameless, self-sufficient selection, the man sought out a rose that had larger petals, and would bring him much more satisfaction. As for the rose that he just severed from its stem and pulled out by its roots, he merely tossed it aside and stood on it with his garden boot. The thorns looked at their patron with desperation in their eyes. They pleaded with Mother Nature for one more try, and as wonderful and as dangerous as she is, she happily obliged. She raised her hand and pulled the roots back into the ground, and the thorns clawed their way to the patron they hoped to save. They surrounded the rose and all its petals, and waited for the earth to turn silent and the world to settle. The ring of thorns shrouded the fallen rose in a dome that would defend anyone that would dare hurt the rose again. As the days went by, the sky wept for what the man left. The water flowed and soaked the ground beneath the thorns, and allowed the rose to establish roots once more. It didn't take long for the rose to climb to a greater height than it did in its previous life. The nights would rise with the sun as it rose, and would stand proud in the light above the rest, with new passions ignited. And as the rose petals grew over the thorns that had protected them, the nights declared, "The War of the Roses has started."